Reddit, what screams I'm upper class? I work in a private school with international boarding students. At the end of each school year, students leave behind computers, gaming systems, Apple Watches, designer clothes, etc. They just leave it. Pulling up perfectly beautiful $100,000 floors to put in different $100,000 floors. I worked for folks who did this. My brother's friend stole his grandma's credit card and racked up $2,500 in charges on it towards various Xbox store shit like Fortnite and Forza currency and a bunch of pre-orders on new games. I was like, wow, he must have gotten that Xbox taken away and was probably murdered shortly after. My brother told me all that they told the kid was, you should have just asked us. Upper class bullshit. Having a butler's pantry. You just have 2 kitchens, admit you are rich. I bought a house 6 months ago that has an old oven, maybe 70s or 80s, hooked up to a gas line in our basement next to the clothes dryer. Does that mean I have 2 kitchens? Being offhand about things that are very expensive for the plebeians. I've found that many rich people are less obnoxious about showing off wealth than are people who are almost rich that feel they have to match up to people who make more than they do. It seems that for the genuinely upper class, money is simply not a factor. By which I mean they will buy what they want without worrying about if what they want is cheap or expensive. If they're buying some wine, for example, they'll buy wine they think tastes nice. If that wine costs hundreds, or more, a bottle, so be it. If it's store brand plonk, so be it. They don't feel the need to buy the most expensive of whatever it is they're buying. Dressing your 5-year-old in a Canadian Goose jacket. Chicago. We call those jackets please mug me coats, also Chicago. For those reading, he isn't joking. You will actually get robbed sometimes for wearing Canada Goose here. Calling your yard the grounds. And your dogs, the hounds. And your doorbell, the sounds. I grew up attending private school in a developing country. Majority of my classmates were in the 1% of the country. These are some of my observations. Connections. You're visiting a foreign country? Friends' parents know the now ambassador to said country from back in the day. You arrive in the airport and you're picked up by a caravan of black Suburbans. You don't visit people's houses. You visit their estate, fincas. You know that famous building / plaza / national park? Yeah, it's named after so-so's grandfather. Their family owns professional sports team, national newspaper, and national television channel. Edit, please stop trying to guess. I'd rather not disclose, but the general guesses are in the area. It's not Colombia though. A few more. Our school's soccer, football tournament final was held in the country's national stadium. Money can't do that. Family members of classmates are presidential candidates going up against family members of other classmates. A few became the eventual president. We got a lot of free stickers, shirts and pens. Most had private drivers and maids. I'd go over my friend's place and he'd ask me if there was anything I'd want to eat. The chef could make it. I always asked for spaghetti because they'd serve it with real Parmesan cheese, and I never had that in my life, and it was impossible to get in the country at the time. Friend of mine's family owned an airline. He'd have Big Macs flown over from Miami once a week. There was and there still is no McDonald's in the country. He would let me take a bite. Powerful families marry each other. Someone I know married a Joshmo. She pretty much got excommunicated from the family, until she had kids. They're back in it, but the husband is not spoken about. Hosting parties every night all summer in your house while you spy on the married woman across the river that used to love you, waiting to meet someone at those parties who knows the married woman so that you can be reintroduced and fall in love again and regain what was lost. Using old sport every other sentence. Sitting on your boat, on a Tuesday. In water, of course. Sitting on your boat in the driveway on a Tuesday, is middle class. Edit, thanks for the silver and gold. Now I can go get a boat and sit on it next Tuesday. In the water. Once pulled $80,000 worth of cabinets out of a billionaire's house that had been installed 3 years earlier. Dude just wanted to make a change. Edit, this blew up in a strange way for a comment that I just thought was mildly interesting. Let me try and answer a couple questions to provide some clarity. I'm going to try and respect the guy by keeping his identity low-key. I worked for a drywall company the summer after high school as a laborer. This guy's basement had sustained some water damage, but the cabinets, yes, 80,000 worth of cabinets in the basement for a game room, weren't affected. However, since we were already tearing out the drywall, the guy said the cabinets could come out too to make room for a complete remodel. The cabinets were then pieced out to some of Mexican guys I worked with who had questionable immigration statuses or had families who could use them. Anything left over was given to Habitat for Humanity. The homeowner seems like stand-up guy who retired after making his fortune and has a good reputation around town as he has funded the restoration of historical buildings, funded hospitals, and runs a foundation that funds significant oceanic research and preservation. Plus, I know multiple small business owners in the area, especially in the trades, who have had their lives and businesses improved exponentially by the amount of money he has spent in the local economy. Not actually flaunting your wealth is a huge sign. A lot of people try to look expensive, but people who are upper class often try to hide their wealth. This reminds me of a story my brother told me. He used to tend bar at a mid-tier country club. There were a combination of very wealthy and wealthy-ish members. Most members were driving $100K plus cars. One guy my brother knew was one of the wealthiest members, drove a mid-level Ford sedan that he bought used. One day my brother asked him why he doesn't drive a more expensive car like the other members. He responded with, the people who matter don't care and the people who care don't matter. That to me screams upper class. Being so wealthy it doesn't have the same meaning it does to normal folks. Edit, till Dr. Seuss came up with that quote. Well played, rich man. Wearing tailor-fitted custom clothes. True wealth don't mess with labels and all the things lower class folks try to prove worth by wearing. Edit, bespoke clothing was what I meant. Pre-coffee me forgot there was a word for what I was trying to describe. I just knew what it looks like and the type who wear it. Someone on Reddit once said money talks, wealth whispers, and that really got to me.